are currently in the middle of a race. Currently, things are looking pretty okay on both sides. As for our seed tonight, we've got they need words. They both need 18 sky fragments to be able to get to DK. Our companions for tonight, we have Kaylee with the white and flare seal starting off. Not much else otherwise. Later levels. Tristram is flare to start off as well. Gets Quake at level 2. Firebook at 12, and White Seal at 26, which is pretty far. Also, find our Claw over on Tybalt's side. That's pretty good. And also, they're pretty even at the moment. I want to believe. If Artea found 10 found that. Anyhow, let's see how things are going. I might have been watching the wrong thing for a second. Anyway, got an Apollo Helm over on Tybalt's side. Yeah, it looks like I think I saw an Excalibur up on Volcano that 10's picking up right now, along with that Apollo Helm. There's an axe for Tybalt. We're already looking pretty good so far. But we've also got some other resistances, which may be important later. But for right now, it looks we are just going through Spear Zero to try and find some, at least a coin to start with. Anyway, P Tower, we have just got here, and while Tybalt's still looking through P Tower, one of the things about P Tower is that you can easily get lost here. And for this flag set for this tournament, you actually can run gain lost in P Tower because there are anywhere from 2 to 4 exits on every floor. So unless you keep track of where your actual exit is, it can be tough. Also, Tybalt finding white there, that's actually very important because for also included in this flag set, we have shuffled resistances. We have fire rolled into earth, meaning that DK just flat out resists it. So flare is off the table for the most part. Earth actually rolled into Axis seed as well. So if they find Meteor, that will actually be more damage at the cost of time due to the animation. Now, I'm curious where things are going to go from here because we really need to find a coin to actually progress. And having P Tower start is it can be good, it can be bad. So also looks like there's slight technical difficulty for Tybalt. But it looks like we have a little timer problem. If you'll give me a second to see what's going on. Okay. Tybalt should come back on in a minute while they're looking to fix that on their side. But regardless, so Tin and Tybalt are facing off against each other in their match, while Joe and Artea are doing their match together on stream. It looks like this will be interesting to see where everything goes. I believe that. Let me check something real quick to be sure. While things are going on. Oh, it looks like they all have the same seed. Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that, but either way, we're gonna see how things go. We have Tybalt already checking out Winter Cave now that his stream's back up. Finding Dragonclaw over in Windia, it seems like. Things are going to be getting pretty good with that Dragonclaw because we actually have Stone rolled into Confusion this seed. While it's not great to have it rolled into Confusion, it can still help for some bosses because some of these bosses that we run into are not particularly resistant to Confusion. Also, there was a flare I just saw on Artea's side, I believe in Aquaria. That will help. That will help with mob clear. We got Tristram as a starting character. Tristram is good once they can find some seeds. And find a sand coin over on Joe's side. I think everyone's got sand coin now, so I'm curious where everybody's gonna go here. Looks like Tybalt decided to go back into P Tower for some reason. I wonder why. Everybody else is already up there. And finding a sword on Artea's side in level forest. Also have Aegis Shield up there as well. Things are going pretty good for Artea right now. From what I can see, Fireberg's right there in the Aquaria area. So once they find some money, they'll be able to actually get some seeds from here. And all you really need is one seed. And finding that magic mirror for Artea is it'll help with Ice Pyramid later, since it shows the enemies. Already going and buying a seed, we're probably going to see some duping on Artea's side. Now, as for people watching, seed duping. Seed duping can be done by entering a battle with low level enemies in particular, preferably, and having been select a seed, use it on himself, then back out and run away. This causes a seed to be duplicated, and the runners can do this multiple times to save money or, in some cases, time if they're running low on seeds. Meanwhile, Artea is going to level forest while it looks like Tybalt's in Volcano. There is a lot going on with route diversion, so there's no telling where things will go, as there could be places anywhere. Because right now, I wonder where Tybalt found Locket. I think it was either P Tower or something. But it doesn't look like I'm not sure if Artea has a Locket, because that Cupid Locket can be pretty big, especially since Artea would have a full suit of armor with that Locket. Anyway, check a tree right here. Not looking good up front, especially since we're getting into the high density. Looks like Joe's checking the crest over in the hut, but it's a Libra crest. We don't have Libra yet, so that's something to check for later. It looks like Tybalt's also finding Medusa. I wonder why, because usually you'd want to keep moving on with Sandcoin, unless Volcano is actually in Aquaria. But even then, like, oof, was that Sky Attack or something? Probably not Sky Attack, because that was low numbers. But still an AoE nonetheless. Either way, look, Artea finding River Coin and Tree. More access is always good. But I'm curious now. Finding Gemini Crest, we got multi-key, which led to we have multi-key that led to the Libra Crest. So it's looking like Tree's the place to be right now, unless there's somewhere else I didn't see, because there is a lot going on right now. It looks like also Joe's in Tree. And I think things are going to be a little rough, since I think that's a Windia Toad, I believe. So I think they caught a warp somewhere. Can't exactly remember where the warp was. Finding a cap in a sky fragment. We don't like seeing that cap in this flag set because boat is not on the menu most of the time. But I think Artea's mostly run through majority of the density. Also, finding a Venus shield. That's gonna be a bit of a loss on Tybalt's side because Aegis shield is a level forest. Which, since we have an axe, we'll be able to get anywhere. So for right now, I'm wondering where Artea is going to go, while the others are trying to search through Tree and also get caught up. Ooh, taking a wipe there on Joe's side with those toads. Let's see. Oh, that's Snakehead. Oof. Something must have happened there. Probably a crit or something. You know, it looks like we have Lava Dome on the menu over in Windia region, but for rest, we got chests here. That's a mask. I think Artea's already been through Volcano, so not really worth it now, since mask is only useful for seeing the enemies in Volcano. Since without the mask, you run the risk of running into enemies. Now, if Artea had some money here, they'd be able to hint. But I don't think they have money. It looks like checking Rope Bridge now. While Tybalt's over here in Wintry Cave. Finding Mobius Crest. That's actually pretty huge, because I remember seeing quite a few Mobius Crests when others were checking. But other than that, we really want to see if we can find Kaylee this seed, because she is the only one with white. And considering our resistances are not favorable towards flare, we do want to see white show up. But if we can find meteor, that can also help with damage, of course. But let's see how things go from here, because it looks like Tybalt still in Spear 0? Oh, finding seeds off the guy in the hut, off the hermit in the hut. That's actually pretty good for 10, especially since I don't think he bought any. I don't think he bought seeds like Artea did. Anyway, going to Firebird region with Artea. We are currently we have Ice Pyramid, we've got Bone Dungeon, what we really need right now are bombs, because bombs are the way to go. At least, also, Tybalt over in P Tower again. I wonder if Tybalt's looking for something. There's our exit in the Ice Pyramid. That will speed things up significantly, since you can just exit out, and exit just helps go fast. It can be used on the overworld to return to Forest region and just take you out of dungeons if you're really deep. It helps with places like right here in Ice Pyramid and also Lava Dome. Speaking of Lava Dome, it looks like Joe's going our first to go into Lava Dome. We're gonna see what we got here because that's a red chest up top. That's a sky frag, but I think our tail will head that way eventually. But it looks like we do need megas for one of the chests here. Speaking of bombs, we found a bomb in Artea, so that will open up Bone Dungeon whenever they decide to get over there. So there's no telling like how things are gonna go now, because Artea did pick up Excalibur, I believe. Did they? Yeah, they did. Of course, we're finding all the weaker weapons right now, because we already have the best weapons for sword, axe, and claw. We just need those megas to fill out everything. Meanwhile, over at Joe's side, it looks like we finally got Tristan using Flare. Things look pretty sharp. I mean, there's a Meteor. That's actually good in terms of damage. I wonder... So the other thing to note, since we have 18 shards to look for, we really need to figure out where the density of shards, because sometimes these big dungeons can have a bunch of shards. And since Artea found bombs in Ice Pyramid, they can just go straight to Bone Dungeon and start diving for shards, because we're already level 10 on Artea's side. 10's already got a couple levels up, and they're already moving. So I don't think 10's that far behind on Artea. Because 10 just found bombs themselves. Meanwhile, on Joe's side, I wonder if this is bomb locked, because without megas, you can't get past the rock. A one tile set, because one tile set has a bunch of platforms to jump over, and then you have to use megas. But taking the Life Forest Warp, that takes us to, looks like Fireberg. Yeah, it's Fireberg. But Artea already at what looks like 11 shards. Founding Noble Armor, but we've already got Gaia Armor. I think the only thing that can help... Oh, well, speaking of megas already. So Artea's pretty fully equipped aside from that Cupid Locket. A Cupid Locket would provide confusion resistance, but I think that would require Artea to go back to P Tower and hunt for that. In the meantime, actually, no, wait, they're at 16. My bad. Small text. But Artea just needs a couple more, and they can just check. They can just go check Doom Castle, see if there's a mob there, and start farming. But we have Joe here already checking Bone Dungeon and then just backing out. Mainly because they don't have bombs, I suppose. Quick checks aren't bad. There's our Sun Coin. That's full access for Artea. But they already warped to Windia, so more or less, Artea is probably going to have already looted a good bit of the place. There's another fragment. One more fragment for Artea, and they will be go mode for the most part, outside of levels, and going straight into Bone Dungeon. I had Joe drop in here for a second, but there's no telling what's behind these old bones. Also got Tybalt right in Live Forest again. Probably looking for, I want to believe, either Gemini Crest to go under or something for progression. Also, looks like I lost Joe's feed, so they'll be up. They'll be back up soon. As for Artea, still trying to find that last shard. Meanwhile, 10's already trying to look for his last few shards. He's already at 15. You hate to see Bone Dungeon be barren like this, because usually Bone Dungeon, with it being quick in and out, it typically is a good place to go look at. We got a couple chests behind the Rex, but they'll go down pretty quickly with this flare. Now, the real question is, since I'm pretty sure there's going to be a shard behind Rex here, is what scripts our refights are going to use, because we have to go through 4 different refights here. We've got Skullrus Rex. There's the last fragment on Artea's side. We got Skullrus Rex. We've got the Stone Golem. We have Wyvern to deal with. And then we have the jerk himself, Zuh. Anyway, Artea going straight to... Well, wait. They're not going Doom Castle yet, apparently. I think they're going to get more... I think they're going to get more seeds. Probably. It never hurts to have more seeds before going to Doom Castle, since you need somewhere around, like, depending on your level, you may need anywhere from 10 to 12. But I think Artea should be okay if they can get a couple more levels and gain some seeds off of Tristram there. They don't have a whole lot of money, but I think they'll be okay. At level 12, though, Ben is still pretty squishy. So things can go wrong if Artea can't find a fight here in Doom Castle. And speaking of fight, those are ninjas. Ninjas are the highest experience you can get in Doom Castle. So this will be a very, very quick grind. So usually for this flag set, the good level to go into refights tends to be anywhere from 14 to 16, depending on how safe you want to be. And currently, we're still stuck with Tristram, so I wonder if they're just gonna roll with Tristram just because of Flare, even if Flare is resisted, because it can still do somewhere around 800 damage to DK. But I would have thought that maybe they would have peeked that to see if maybe they could find Kaylee. Because if they could find Kaylee, then it'll be a bit easier, because even if Tristram can resist death, even if Tristram can resist instant kill attacks, the only thing that he will not resist is Petrify when it comes to status. And whether there's also a factor of whether any of them roll fire, because Tristram also resists fire, or water, because Kaylee resists water. So it's either or, but usually I would think Usually I would think it's a good idea to get Kaylee, because that Flare Seal can help burn through refights, since nothing resists Earth except like Za. Anyway, Artea going into refights now. Skullrush should go down pretty fast. Also, with the Petrify rolling into Confusion, you can Petrify Skullrush pretty easily, provided you get the proc. That's a miss on the proc, but still damage. Paralyze on Tristram. I also think Tid's trying to find his last shard, but he's having no luck so far. Trying once again for the Dragon Claw proc. Gets the proc and the level up. Now we're on to Stone Golem. Yeah, it looks like Tid's go mode with their shards. Looking at it, wonder if Tybalt's a little bit lost here, because I think I've seen them in a live forest and tree for a while, but I'm unsure what they're looking for. Because at this point, I would have thought to go ahead and move forward with the coins they have. But meanwhile, Joe's over here in Pyramid, still looking for shards. Of course, if you do fall from that bridge, you can lose a good chunk of time. Also, get another Dragon Claw proc on Artea's side for Stone Golem. I forgot you could do that. I forgot Golem was not resistant to confusion, at least in refights. Anyway, now we have Hydra. We have no telling what Hydra's gonna do. But looking at what we got, looks like Holy and Water are effective against Hydra this seed due to the resistance shuffle. So all they can really rely on is just Flare for the moment. Hopefully Hydra does that. Not Hydra, Wyvern. Hopefully Wyvern does not roll into anything bad. Doesn't look bad though at the moment. With Wyvern down, Artea just has and for the record, all birds are jerks. Za can be particularly mean because they have a very high damage stat. So it can be a little rough around the edges from time to time, depending on what attacks Za rolls here. For what I'm seeing, Giant Blade, that's okay. Looks like Tybalt's now Lava Dome as well, looking at the other racers. And it looks like 10's already starting their grind. They're already level 16. I wonder why they're gaining extra levels. I wonder if it's for safety, because they haven't found Phoebe yet. Well, they haven't found Kaylee, my bad. Phoebe isn't very useful this seed, because she only gets Flare at 26. Also, that's a pretty nasty foam coming from Zum Tristan. It's one of the things when you decide to pick either Tristan or Kaylee, because one resists water, the other resists fire. One's faster than the other, but they're both fast somewhat in their own right. But for right now, it looks like Artea's trying to close out the Zub fight with a bit of triage, while 10 over here, already done with Skullrush. Provided nothing happens on Artea's side, 10 might actually be able to catch up pretty fast. already gained a declaw proc on Golem and Skullrus. Actually sped up the fight because it took Artea a couple turns, I believe, when I was watching. And with Zud down, we are on to DK. Now, DK, as the people in the FFMQ community know, is a great equalizer. The reason being is that DK can be nice or he can be very mean. It really depends on how he's feeling today. So let's see how DK feels in the first turn. Also, throwing. Oh wait, DK rolled Doomgaze. So instant death actually was what you needed here, in case he did roll that. Because if that proc on Tristram, it wouldn't have worked. 10 already down with Wyvern. DK2 not looking too bad at the moment. This DK looks pretty weak as well. Low roll DK with low health tends to go by pretty fast. That's fire, so that's actually still good. If you had Brock Kaylee, she would have gone toasted. So I suppose Tristram was the pick this seed over Kaylee. Either way, there's still a little bit of time. We don't know what's all here for DK3, but it's not looking very threatening, so it might be over before you know it. Meanwhile, Tin's having to fight Zuh right now, and Zuh's not looking too hot at the moment. But still not easy fight by any means due to the health value that Zuh rolled, especially with that Quake already near death. From what I'm seeing now, it doesn't seem like DK3 is that much of a threat, since he rolled some particularly low damaging attacks. So it should change now. That looks like Thunder. So DK4. Every phase of DK, I believe, has, at least in this flag set, probably has different attacks. Or similar attacks. But I still want to think it's DK3. But that Thunder spell probably will hurt Tristram a lot, like right now. Or not. Since Tristram outspeeds mostly everything, I think that this DK is in the bag, provided Artea doesn't do any mistakes. It looks like 10 just finished Zuh, so they'll be coming right behind, and that's time for Artea. So, for Joe versus Artea, it looks like Artea won game 1. We're waiting on 10 to finish their seed, since 10 and Tybalt are also facing their bracket tonight. Looks like Joe's still trying to find shards, I believe. They're 1 shard short. But right now, I'm curious why 10 went a little higher in levels, because oh. Hello, Artea. How are you? Hello? Hold on.
I'm in.
Yep, you're in. Hello,
Oh,
Artea.
oh, sorry.
It's okay. So, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. That was quite an interesting seed, I think. I don't think I routed badly either. Of course, I did some mistakes here and there, but that's to be expected from any rando. But yeah, I think it went pretty well overall. It was kind of weird because the flag set is pretty fast. It was a 18 shard. So 18 you can consider a pretty good time being in the sub 30. And I was at like 35, aiming to 35 at DK. I wasn't sure I was really in advance or not, but at the same time there were so many places that were kind of barren. I was a little
Yeah.
that everything was on Lava Dome, which I hesitated. To go at some point. Lava Dome is pretty stacked, but at the same time I had a low amount of seeds when I was in the Windia region. And Windia monsters are quite strong, especially against Earth Magic. So I wasn't really sure that I wanted to focus on that. I just thought, I got the river coin. There's also a chance that I'll get Kylie either. Another mistake that I did is I didn't check really in Fireberg. All the Fireberg region had no temple or whatsoever, so I had no chance to find Kylie there. That's another mistake I made. But yeah, overall I think it went alright.
Yeah, I think it went all right as well. It was pretty well watching you run it, as well as checking on Tid and Joe. Things took a bit of a route diversion when Joe went into Lava Dome first. And didn't look like Lava Dome had a whole lot in terms of items from what I was seeing.
Okay.
But I also couldn't help but just notice like how the rowdy in this seed was, because there was a lot in that tree, especially that river coin and a good chunk of sky shards.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't really convinced. I knew that I was either in the Windia or Farberg region when I went in the tree, because I had seen the mummies and the ghost monsters. I had seen the trees as well, so it was either Farberg or Windia. I was pretty confident that it was Windia, however, because had it been on Farberg, I probably would have seen some other monsters that aren't in tree
You
usually.
probably would have seen, I believe, possibly gargoyles or I think the lizards.
Or ninjas
But
or those kind of monsters. So yeah, I was pretty confident it was Windia. I thought, all right, might as well. I'm there. I'll just dive as much as I can. I don't expect too much. I had a low amount of seeds at that point, but I had flare. I didn't want to really commit too much. But at the same point, at the same time, I had dragon claws. So sometimes you just gotta go the way where the seed wants to bring you. So that's kind of
it
what
looks
I
like
went
Joe's
for.
coming into the room, I believe.
Yeah, it paid up. One thing is, since that was a low amount of cards, at the point where I had to fight some oozes, I just said, well, nope, I'm going out of here. My only good damage was Flare. It wasn't even that amazing, but it was good. And oozes would just have reflected me. It was a 18 shard run. I knew that I had already these river coins, so yeah, there's no reason to stay there. I'll just go to either to Lava Dome or completely to the Fireberg region. I knew that both Bone Dungeon and as well as the Pyramid was probably there. There's one spot that I had not scouted, which is the post-Hydra check in Fireberg. But both can't be there. At the same time, I
Excuse me,
had no
Artea.
bombs at that point, and I was worried that we just get
Excuse
stuck.
me, Artea.
Oh, right.
Hey, Joe, how are you doing?
Good. Was hoping for a little bit of a closer run, but this was definitely a more special seed.
Yeah, I could see that. What made you choose to go in the lava dome? Because as far as I know, I don't believe you had any kind of bombs going in there.
Part of it was I did not. I was, and part of it was the proximity thing. One, the bombs only do gate that one hallway, so you can near full clear uh lava dome at times. So it was kind of, I had gone and done this warp, headed over here, felt a little slow about some other things, and wanted to try and hopefully get some quicker checks in the density area there. And then it was just hallways and junk at
Yeah,
that early part.
I did see that was a bit rough. But it looks like both. That was your game too, yeah.
Game 1.
That
We
was
are
game one.
game 2 and hopefully 3 will be Thursday. But
Okay.
the coin routing was wild. Warp into tree to go and get the river coin, which the river coin then which was in the Windia area, and then the river coin leads to the sun coin.
Yeah, it was pretty neat seeing that back door into Windia. But yeah, since this was game one, game two is going to be on Thursday, September 11th, and you'll see it on at 10 p.m. I believe over at Speed Gaming Live. Either Speed Gaming Live or over on the FFR channel, but I want to believe it is preferably on Speed Gaming Live because we didn't have a commentator aside from me tonight. Regardless, it was nice seeing you both run this game one. I'm looking forward to seeing that game two on Thursday. So I wish good luck to both of y'all because this again could go either way depending on what choices everybody makes.
Oh yeah.
Dyslexic is pretty much like that. By the way, good game, Judge. It was really fun. But yeah, Dyslexic is weird, really weird in that regard. You can't take anybody for granted,
No.
which is nice for a racing flag set. It's really nice.
Yeah, it can go anywhere with even just risky play. But regardless, we're setting up now for 10 and Tybalt's game two. So thank you both for running, and I'm hoping to see both of you run on Thursday.
Looking forward to running on Thursday. Should be a blast. If it's a little more straightforward, get a little less lost, should definitely be a lot closer.
Hoping
Certainly.
for it. Thanks for the restream. Thanks for the commentary team, the tracking team. It's always amazing to have you all commentate our stuff and, well, make it more interesting even.
Thank you too for also just being great players. Regardless, we're setting up for 10 in Tybalt game two. And from what I just pulled up on the game info, it looks like we've got a 23 count seed for Sky Fragments. Our this shuffle is looking pretty good this time around, because from what I can see, it looks like that fire rolled into projectile. So flare is on the table. Earth, however, is not on the table. Earth, however, rolled into water. So if they find meteor, Wyvern's going to be a pushover. Air also rolling the holy is particularly good, since that will just make undead enemies go by quickly. But as for status resistances, it looks like paralysis did not roll very well, so because that rolled straight into doom. So nothing can be paralyzed, sadly. However, petrify rolling sleep isn't entirely bad, but it's not great either because I believe a good chunk of enemies resist sleep. But looking to our companions, okay, this is a very, very short list of spells I'm seeing here. Because looking at this, Kaylee with Quake Book at level 2, start off. Heal Book at 12, Fire Book at 21. Not very useful, but maybe good for early game. But Tristram, coming in with the Flare Seal at level 5 right off the bat is actually good. And Phoebe is still very good. Phoebe has White Seal at level 2, but sadly her Flare Seal is all the way at level 40. Anyway, they are off. And it looks like we start with Ruben. Ruben, however, has the Exit Book. That Exit Book can make things go very, very fast this early on. So what I expect our runners to do while Tybalt's staring through Volcano is to hopefully find their exit book. Because once you find Ben's exit book, it's not particularly useful to keep Ruben around because he doesn't really have any wizard spells this seed. Either way, I believe that 10 just started on a gold battlefield. And with the gold battlefields in Sphere 0 for Foresta, we actually have either the Foresta enemies or we have the Aquaria enemies. It also helps that Tybalt found air early on, so that's pretty free in terms of damage, especially for a black spell. I also find Charm Claw. That's going to be a good boost early on, but again, like when you're in Foresta with bombs, most of the time, bombs are going to carry you through, depending on how enemies roll. And since bombs roll into axe, you don't have to worry about the worms too much. Now, for people at home, the bombs do fixed damage. And already find that River Coin on Tybalt's side, we might, depending on how things go, we may see a potential turnaround here. But 10 going ahead and buying some seeds, that's actually okay in this instance because low levels, you already have spells to use. You might as well at least start duping now for later. It also looks like Lava Dome's there, but I can understand not wanting to go there just yet. Since if you wind up getting locked behind Mega Grenades, it's not fun. It's mostly just a dip and go. But Tybalt closing out this volcano with a blizzard. And I wonder where they're going to go next. Going to Lava Dome. Treasure Room at least has some chests. The Lava Dome is very dense in terms of checks, but it's also very long. So thankfully our friend Ruben here has exit. Because without exit, we would be walking all the way down and all the way back. But there's no telling what's in here. Speaking of exit, since now we have Ben's exit, we don't really have to carry Ruben around anymore for the most part if we don't want to. We just have to find either Tristram or Phoebe, and we'll be good. And this might actually look like a Tristram seed from what I'm reading back, because again, fire rolled into projectile element this seed. So flare spam might actually be the way to go. Looks like they didn't find anything on that first branch over for Tybalt. But 10's still looking through Volcano, so currently looks like Tybalt's in the lead. Now, as a reminder, we need 23 sky fragments to get to DK. Also, find that Dragon Claw early on. That will do a lot of work. And hello, equipment. Got our utility belt mostly filled out. So the only thing Tybalt's really missing is the Meg Grenades. So pretty much Lava Dome was good to go. He could probably just go ahead and go to River. Just exit out and go straight to Fireberg area and get some levels out there. Because that Dragon Claw, I don't believe Fireberg enemies resist sleep that well. But I would have to double check on that if I am wrong. Regardless, this is still a very good start. Especially for 5 minutes in, it's actually pretty huge. So, depending on where things go in the Fireberg area, which I don't even know what's there, since I don't think either player has panned over there due to there only being one route, but both of them are in Lava Dome. And depending on who exits out first, we may see an advantage come over us, because it looks like the rest of Lava Dome over in Tybalt's side is not looking, exactly great, because he's already been through a majority of the density already. And, of course, neither of them are ready to fight Hydra in this instance, because I would probably not fight Hydra at level 7. But regardless, I believe whoever exits out here first to World Map might have the advantage. And it looks like Pin's exiting first, already out there. He's got like a whole bunch of C's from that GP, but in re-entering Lava Dome? Now, this is a thought. Re-entering Lava Dome is not a bad thing to do if you search that entire branch, because we do have internal dungeon shuffle. Sometimes the branches you take with the exits you take can wind up in dead ends. And once you search that entire branch, you want to go and look at the other exit. But in the meantime, Tybalt finding a sand coin and white towards the end of their branch, that's actually pretty good. Especially since white is pretty fast, and I don't believe we found Benjamin's flare just yet. It should be the first wizard Ben has too, I believe. It looks like 10's queen out. They're going to be missing out on white, but either way, they're going to be first to Firebird. Chestnut Tower has a magic ring. That'll give us a bit more magic power on our spells. But other than that, I wonder what this Firebird map looks like. Checking wind. There's Windhole. No partner there, but multi-key, so that'd be a check for Firebird whenever Tim gets back there to see what crest. Looks like Tin's gonna take a battlefield for some quick experience. Not a bad idea, especially since you're level 7. Usually, when you get to high-level areas like Fireburg or Windia, you usually want at least either powerful spells, or you want levels. And there's also a single battlefield right there. And meanwhile, it looks like Tybalt's checking Rope Bridge. They'd already left. They're actually ahead on frags right now with the 6. So they're already working towards it. So I think with that Sand Coin, they're over in Aquaria area. So there's no telling where things go from here. 10 saying up that boat too. So there's no Artea, I wonder if we'll get that boat seed ever. Because I would love to get a boat seed. You know, it looks like Tybalt's taking an extra, and he also found Kaylee. Kaylee is not that great this seed because she only has Quake, Heal, and Fire in her spellbook. I probably would have continued to keep Ruben, but 10 found Libra, so that opens up teleports. Looks like he wound up in Aquaria. There's no telling where that led to. So where is Aquaria? Oh, it's over here. So he basically didn't need a sand coin at all. That's funny. So it looks like Tybalt might be losing the gap here, and Tim might be catching up. Since now he's in Aquaria. Yeah, they're pretty close right now. Just checking shark counts. They're neck and neck, actually. So it just turned to anybody's game now. And of course, we like to see 2 chests behind Rex, because there is 1 chest on Rex. I do not like 1 chest. We don't like 1 chest or 0 chests on Rex, because then it's just, why did I come here? Either way, both our players are going to get a quick refresh of their magic, and we're going to see what's in those chests. Now, the real question is Ting going to go back to Fireburg area? Because we didn't fully check Fireburg area, I believe. Finding Excal and Gemini Crest in that actually gives more access. So 10 with the most crest access at the moment. Seems like they're going to... Seems like they're already leaving, but they could have just exited out. Maybe one of the extra experience. It's not bad, especially since you're level 9. It's either that, or they wanted to say White Cast, but I am unsure. Oh, right, they haven't checked the rest of the dungeon. Meanwhile, Tybalt finding Gemini as well with that Excal. They're just a little bit behind, but we're finding some Sky Frags in the back here, even though technically this is supposed to be the front. But internal dungeon shuffle. Either way, what I'm trying to figure out here is how are these crests going to play into their next moves? Because sometimes crest plays pay off quite a deal, like with 10. And 10's one of our seasoned runners alongside Tybalt. Finding a charm. Well, that charm doesn't do a whole lot. It was already lower tier than a magic ring, so whoops. Finding Aegis in the back. That's petrify resistance along with paralyze resist. So that covers 2 other stats, and it looks like we got P Tower and a Life Forest in Aquaria. So these are very high density areas. We might find more frags here, and I would like to potentially see armor or helm, because right now both players are they're lacking element resistance, which can hurt them, especially when it comes to DK. So we'll have to see where things go. It looks like Tybalt's going into. Looks like Tybalt went into Aquaria for a sec, but they don't have Libra Crest, which I believe might have been over in the Fireberg area, where 10 was. But either way, this could go. This could be pretty tight of a race that we've got here, because neither runner is behind the other outside of just crest access. Going to Light Temple, nothing is there, so whoops. But it looks like he's checking for a partner here. No partner. Finding a sword. So we already found Excalibur. So the only thing they can really get for an upgrade right now is Mega Grenades in terms of weapons. What I would like to see is a Moon Helm or a Gaia Armor. That way they can have better element resistance going into DK, but I have not seen a seed that excludes those if you're going pretty darn fast. Most of the time, you have some form of element resistance. Finding base Cat Claw, that's not very useful. While we're going through tree, I'm going to take a quick look at chat. But I wonder where that Life Tome is. I think that Life Tome is either going to be in Pyramid or it's going to be in P Tower. Because it could be anywhere. I mean, it looks like 10's finally hit the density. It's mostly just frags up from here. Artea, you call everything the boat. Like, when is it not? The time it's supposed to be in boat is not in the boat. Or whatever we don't need is in the boat. But even then, we don't even have Mega Grenades, so we can't even consider the boat right now, sadly. But looking at how many tiles we've been through, I think the one tile we haven't been is Ghidra Room. That's the one place we haven't looked at, so that's probably in the back here, because that's 4 different checks. But it looks like Tybalt's coming closer to that shard count. They've got 7 more to find. I think they're a couple up on 10. Right now, I wonder what 10's looking for. Are they leaving? Yep, they're leaving. So, going straight to P Tower. Well, I think 10's ahead a little bit here. It looks like P Tower was Declaw locked, but we found Declaw pretty early in that volcano, so. As a reminder, I'm going to say it once more. You can easily get lost in P Tower in internal dungeon shuffle. Because 2 to 4 exits on every floor. There is no telling which floor goes where, and sometimes those things can even loop. And when they loop, it doesn't help. I think Ten's looking for frags a little bit here, hoping for like some kind of armor. Because I think it might be worth to go back to Fireberg area. Unless Fireberg area literally didn't have much in it. Because I didn't get a good look at that when I was looking over at Tybalt's screen. Right now, though, there are a couple things that are in the back of my mind. Because I think I got a quick look on the ledge. I think there's some value on the ledge. If they can find the wake water. Because that wake water will open up that ledge and gives them some more room to work with. Looks like Tim found the vault. It's empty. We hate seeing an empty vault in P Tower. But it doesn't look like P Tower has a whole lot with how many floors they've been through. I think this, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think 10 is about to be done with P Tower soon. That's a Mobius crest. That's full crest access, so that can lead even to Windia region, which they don't even have a coin for. So I would have to guess that if they can find, they can actually check a live forest for a whole bunch of crest warps. I think they only found like 1 crest warp, but 10's gonna take a battlefield break just to get a quick level. The Check and Cage Temple. That was a Mobius crest, so there. Let's see where this takes us. I also believe the dock. I believe the dock was probably Windia. Not in its normal spot. But I know I saw the dock once. It's either in Windia or it's in the Foresta region in Fireberg. But that is 16. That's Shard 16. There's still Wintry Cave to check up there in Fireberg region. Looks like we're going to go check in some crests here on 10's side. While Tybalt is going to be looking at the Fireberg region, buy some more seats. Honestly, with the amount of seat count that, finally finding an Apollo Helm. That's extra defense and a fire resistance. But, as I was saying, doing crest checks at this point with full crest access isn't bad because right now they really need to find a way to Windia. Either find Sun Coin or some way to get there. And speaking of the dock, the dock's in Fireberg, and there's a little accident on. Anyway, check that Gemini. There's Phoebe. 10 first to find Phoebe. She's who we need for this seed. Somewhat, because she not only has higher magic than Tristram, but in general, though, I think that you could use either Tristram or Phoebe. Mainly because of the fact that Phoebe's using white, Tristram is using Flare. So, and also finding Gaia armor up in Windia with Tybalt, that's a bit of a miss on Ten's part. So Ten doesn't go back to Windia and check Grandma and Grandpa's house. It may be different, but it's not the first time I've seen some seeds that have no body armor involved. I actually ran one today with that. Very also finding Cupid Locket, that gives us our confusion resistance. So that's our full status resistance outside of, I believe, sleep and poison. But Tybalt's not far behind. We still have to find a handful of shards to get through this scene. The only thing is, where is that sun coin, or where is the crest that leads to Windia? Because I also gained to a Squidite fight here with Ten. There was also Tybalt that picked up a Cupid Locket too, so they're still pretty close together. Taking another battlefield break. As far as I've seen, Ten's pretty set. I think he wants Phoebe at 23 for the Ether Shield, because once Phoebe gets to 23, she gets 3 other resistances. Namely, one resistance is resistance to Drain. So she heals instead of the enemy, in case they use Drain on her. But right now, I'm actually unsure where to go here. Checking Falls Basin. It looks like this is the 2-block solution that I'm very used to. Let's see if we gain here. It looks like Tybalt's going back to Aquaria. He's gonna go up to that ledge. Actually, with that quick passover, I don't think there was anything up there, but there might be. Well, there was that. So, level forest? Level forest. It was level forest. We'll have to see what's all in level forest. Because level forest is a particularly... Bleh. Words. It's a particularly quick check alongside Falls Basin once you can nuke the crab. The crab had a Venus shield, so that did help a whole lot on Ten's side. And it doesn't seem like Tybalt found anything useful over in level forest either. Meanwhile, Ten grabbing that Gaia armor I mentioned earlier. So, Ten actually has a full set of gear now. No worry about resistances whatsoever. So right now, the only thing I can really think of is you might have to fight Dullahan. Because neither player has gone to Mount Gale yet. It's either you might have to fight Dullahan, or you might have to fight Medusa. It's one or the other in this case, because I think we've been through pretty much most of the main areas here so far. Right now, Ten's wondering where to go. I mean, yeah, Spencer Cave is an option. Because, I mean, we don't normally see Mega Man Cave. But in this case, it might be worth it to go check the Mega Man Cave. Because we're running low on checks, and we don't really have a whole lot of places left to look. And, of course, Tank could go over and check those Alive Forest warps, because there are definitely some warps there that one can check to see if they lead to Windia. Because I do see Ice Pyramid down in Windia. I want to think whoever finds their way to Windia first may potentially win. But Tin's already checking a life forest here. That's a loop? Ooh. That kind of sucks. I have not seen a single crest loop into itself in a live forest before, so that's just nasty. I think the only other one is on the far right, but I think that 10 has already checked it potentially. So back into tree to see if, and we found Ghidra room. Ghidra room was here, so fighting Ghidra is not on the table as far as I saw because I think it was a brown chest, and it looks like Tybalt's back in P Tower. Thinking on P Tower, was there even anything in there? Because as far as I know, Pete, oh, wait a minute. Tim just found the sun coin. That's Windia access. I would just back out and go. Because Pyramid's literally right there. And the fact that Tim's already level 17 just says, like, hey, I've got everything covered. All you gotta do is just do some seeding, and you just gotta start using Flare and White. Because all that's left is just the shards. Yep, going straight there, not bothering with any of the, or wait, never mind. He's checking the Doom Castle. I would probably just went straight there. Because even if it's just one Sky Fragment, but it makes sense to do that. Anyway, Ice Pyramid, looks we got Mine over here. I think that's Foresta on the end. Checking Sealed Temple. That's another warp, but ooh, deciding to pick up Tristram here is not a bad idea because Tristram does have Flare. Now, when we compare magic stats and spell power, Tristram's Flare is pretty much close to the same as Phoebe's White. So taking either or here is not bad, especially with Tristram's speed. That'll definitely help a lot when trying to get to it. It looks like we're seeing Mega Man Cave over on Tybalt's side. But regardless, 10's at 21 fragments. Just needs 2 more to try and close out the game. There is a red chest down here, surprisingly. And that is Meteor. So it looks like Mega Man Cave was pretty darn important for refights. Because with Meteor, Wyvern is a bust. Wyvern just dies. Because Wyvern is weak to water and air. And Earth rolled into water this scene. So it really depends on how fast 10 gets these shards. And whether Tybalt can get the shards in time. Because I believe Tybalt has not gone back to that tree to find that sun coin. So it really depends on whether they go back. Because right now they are trying to find that Windia access that's in tree. Either that or find enough shards to get yourself through. Are they going to fight Dullahan? No, they're not. For some reason, I thought they were going to fight Dullahan, but that's Thunder. Thunder isn't very useful. And finding Megas and Mine, that makes things slightly faster getting through Doom Castle with the shortcut. But all 10 needs is just 2 more shards. That's it. Or actually, wait, no. He has 23 now. 10 can go. So now we get to go on to refights with Phoebe. And not to mention, or not Phoebe, Tristram. Whoops. I'm getting my companions mixed up here. But Tristram, in particular, when it comes to refights, as we saw in the previous scene, being able to resist instant death attacks helps a lot. And considering Tristram is the fastest thing alive, we're probably going to see things go pretty fast in these fights. The only downside is that his magic isn't great, but it looks like these ninjas are not playing very nice with that hit on Tristram. Hopefully they do not crit. But easy fight. Next fight is Stone Golem. There's again no telling whether we'll wind up in something that's going to roll badly. Because right now Tybalt is fighting the crab, trying to find that sun coin that is in the tree. So hopefully at some point they decide to go back to the tree before 10 finishes. Stone Golem down. We got 2 refights to go. We are on to Wyvern now. Now, 10 did not find the meteor that was in Mega Man Cave. So 10's gonna have to fight Wyvern the normal way. Because Axe rolled in the air this scene, so it's not a very good option if you have Wizard casts to go through. Yeah, Zah is only weak to silence. I only saw one seed rolling to have Stone roll into silence. And that just was crazy. But 10 making short work of Wyvern here with that Axe crit. That's actually pretty huge with that crit. But Tybalt looking back over, it looks like Lava Dome. I wonder why, because double dipping Lava Dome is not a very good idea unless you get walled somewhere and you're just looking for the last few checks. But Zah here is just going to lose to Axe. I mean, if 10 crits with that Axe, it will be basically the same or stronger than a wizard spell. And also the fact that fire roll into projectile. Yeah, Zah is not going to have a good time. But we are on to refights. Not refights. We just did refights. We're actually on to DK. Excuse me for my memory. But let's see what DK rolls out the door. Oh, paralyzed right on Tristram. That's nasty. But we're going straight into DK2, so it's definitely a low roll DK. Because I only took, I believe, 1 flare. Even then, like, didn't do a whole lot with that move he just did. Low power moves so far. Using X-Cal on... Okay, so does 10 not have any wizard spells? Yeah, Tybalt is missing Mobius. But I think 10 never found a wizard spell. That can actually extend these DK fights significantly, because even if you're throwing X-Scal at DK, it doesn't do a whole lot. And it looks like Ganon's at again. And thankfully, he's not actually hurtful. That guy armor found earlier actually coming into use here. But looks like Tybalt's now fighting Ghidra. I wonder why. Was that Doogaze I just saw from Ganon? But right now, I'm not seeing very high power moves, so this DK3 might be over with before you know it. It might have been a little faster if 10 had found that white spell, or even... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, that's 1,000 damage move? Is that 6 pseudopods? Because that's 6 pseudopods, we may be in trouble. Because as far as I know, I think 10 does have life, yeah? But if 10 doesn't have life, yeah, pseudopods probably strikes again with that 1,000 damage. But this Ganon probably would have already been throwing the book by the time Link got there, provided that 10 actually had a white spell or something. But who knows? Oh, 10 has no life spell there. Oh, that's time for 10. GG's. Attacks. Anyhow. That was a pretty good seed. A lot of last locationing before Windia, that's for sure, but I think it was pretty good, even just for starting out. Because Tybalt's still looking for that last... Or wait, Tybalt found the Sun Coin, so he's just trying to finish up right now. But this was game 2. So it looks like 10 is moving on in the bracket for this SGL. But it looks like 10 doesn't want to come in for an interview, so that's all well. I wonder if Tybalt would be interested in an interview. So I think Tybalt right now is just trying to finish the scene. They just got their shard to go. And they've got pretty much all their armor ready to go. So I don't know where they're going. Are they trying to go to Fireberg? Because I thought Fireberg was over in Foresta. Yeah, they were trying to go to Fireberg. But while Tybalt is finishing our scene, I'm going to go ahead and look at our tournament schedule real quick. So tomorrow at 12:10 p.m., just about noon, we're gonna see Game 2 for This Dude Speaks versus Lanxian. Well, I won't be there to commentate. It should be on SGL, hopefully. And then if it goes to Game 3, it'll be on Thursday for Game 3 if that does come to it. And of course, at 10 p.m. we'll have Artea versus Joe versus Judgejoe, Game 2. And you'll want to try and tune in to Speed Gaming live or here on Friday, because Friday we got a set of games coming up. We have Hebbings versus Ipsty for game 1 and 2. All these games are going to be back to back, starting at 4:10 p.m. And then we're going to have a game I'm actually going to be having that day at 9:10 p.m. on Friday versus Fried Potato. That will be at 9:10 p.m. So this SGL has been particularly interesting with how everything has been, because again, all these players are showing quite a good run. Even like people who haven't been here long, they've showed a lot of skill from just me watching and also just what they've shown. I'm really looking forward to see what comes out of brackets though, because this is still the 16. So we'll have the 8 at some point after Friday. But for right now, Tybalt's still trying to close out the seed, it seems. And they're running Phoebe this time. Of course, we did run to the Doom Gaze, I believe, on DK. So that may potentially have been a problem. But also, I'm actually curious about what seeds we'll see, because I am still looking for that boat seed. I haven't run into it yet, but the time when that boat seed will happen will just make everything change, I'm sure. Oh, accidentally doing a runaway on Tybalt's side. Little miss input, but nothing to worry about. I'm actually curious if Tybalt will want an interview. It looks like they would be interested in one once they finish. No, man. the only good snowman Artea is a melted snowman. Let's be real. Because we like to melt snowman. Phoebe is always good at melting snowmen, except when she doesn't have flare. Because when she doesn't have flare, then yeah, not exactly the easiest. But looks like in the race room, Tybalt's finished. Well, on screen they're finishing out this DK fight. What's up, Tybalt?
Not much.
It was a good showing you gave there.
Yeah, burned by a coin both times.
Yeah, sometimes those coins can be right behind. As I
Yeah, it's
just
like,
saw, those pseudopods were mean.
yeah, exactly on Phoebe. I was like, oh well, okay.
Yeah, let me just hit them for the exact health. Whoops.
Yeah, missing that sand coin in the first seed. As soon as I got it, I was like, where else can I get an item from? Like, what am I missing? And I'm just double backing everywhere, going, what did I miss? And it was just one chest in.
It happens because sometimes we have had instances where people have faded chests, never went back to them, and then kind of goes from there. But these things happen, and a bit more practice helps along the way. But how do you feel about just playing in a tournament, Tybalt?
I mean, I did pretty good. I did pretty all right. I know, like, some of the early qualifiers didn't do so well. Like, right near the last qualifier I did, I actually probably did the best seed I ever did, which was like really nice. And then these two, just the early game is what ended it for me.
Yeah. 10 actual. So, one thing I did notice on 10's side for this seed is that 10 didn't actually grab the Fang coin. 10 found, I believe it was Libra Crest in Fireberg area, and he took a back door into the Aquaria area through Aquaria itself.
Yeah, I knew there was still quite a few chests when I was going through Lava Dome there. So I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going. I still got a bunch of chests in here that I can grab, until I get blocked by not having megas. And I came across a sand coin. I'm like, ah, cool. All right. I know next area I'm going to go to.
Yeah. But sometimes it's always a good idea to just stop for a minute, hit select button, scan over the map, because you never know if something's just going to be all battlefields.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I was actually interested to see just what our turnout was for just the day.
A lot of people showed up for the tournament in general, and the players that are in this tournament are some of the top tier runners, both within the rando and some within the vanilla speedrunning. So it's a very dangerous place to race in.
But again, I think when we see the rest of the matches for the 16, things can still go either way, regardless of like what you do. Because you and Tim were actually very close together, I believe, with at least at the start of this seed.
Yeah. But as soon as I didn't find that sun coin, that's where it kind of just was able to take off with it. Because I was clearly in everything going, I need just 25. Where am I 25?
Also, GG's on your side for a stream.
Yep.
But I was thinking this was good. This could go just basically anyway because we're low on locations where we've already checked a whole bunch of density. It could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The fact it wasn't tree was just interesting.
Yeah. And it was an earliest location, like you didn't actually have to fight Ghidra to get it. That's what really got me. It's like I hit that roundabout and it's like, oh, this is where oh no, I just spent a bunch of time fighting bosses I didn't have to. Yay.
It happens. The last seed I did, I actually had to wind up finding a couple bosses just to find the shards I need.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that will do us for a night. Because tomorrow we are going to have at 12:10 p.m. We're going to have This Dude Speaks versus Lanxi in Game 2. See if it goes to Game 3. And again on Thursday, we're gonna see Game 2 for Happy Artea and Judgejoe at 10:10 p.m.
I'm going to join in one. I've known Judgejoe for quite a bit in another randomizer, so I'm interested in that one myself. So
either way, this has been an interesting night. Just solo commentating. I haven't solo commentated before, but I hope it was enjoyable. So,
well, thank you for definitely doing the commentary, and Wildham for doing the restreaming and the tracking and all that. It's we may be racing, but y'all put on the show, so if we didn't have people doing that, we wouldn't have a show.
And Artea doing God's work with that tracking. I still remember having to play with that tracker a bit myself to figure out how it all worked, but regardless, this has been Ultima Strike. I'm hoping you all have a good evening, and we see what's going to come out of this first of 16. Because again, there is no telling what will happen.
All right, well, you have a good one.